The sky above Vesta 9 glowed red with fire. Ships moved too fast to see clearly, leaving bright trails across the planet's upper atmosphere. Explosions rocked the mining colony below, sending chunks of rock and metal flying. Talon, a young Lyrian officer, crouched behind a broken wall. Sweat ran down his blue-scaled face as he aimed a plasma rifle at an incoming Drovan soldier. The Drovans were insect-like, with sharp claws and armor that shimmered in the light of the burning sky. They were cruel, smart, and very fast. Talon's small squad fired, but the enemy kept coming. One of his men screamed when a Drovan grabbed him, and he felt a shock of fear that he had never felt before. "Hold your line!" Talon shouted, though his voice trembled. Above them, the stars were crowded with ships. The Alliance fleet had been here minutes ago, but now the human ships had pulled back. Talon's eyes widened as he saw empty space where allies had once fought. On the human station, Fort Hamilton, Captain Logan Price stared at the battle feed. His jaw was tight. Lines of small ships exploded on the screen, and larger ships were in flames. He shook his head. "They've left them," he muttered. Ambassador Claire Morgan, a human woman in a smart uniform, leaned over his shoulder. Her dark hair was tied back, and her eyes were sharp. She shook her head. "The Council has decided. The frontier worlds are no longer their concern. They're pulling back." 2. Logan's fists clenched. "You mean they've abandoned them?" Claire nodded. "Vesta 9 and other colonies are left to die. The Alliance wants to protect their core worlds first. That's all." On the screen, Talon and his squad fought desperately. They did not know the humans were watching, and they had no hope left. Talon had sent a message, a wideband distress call, asking for anyone to help. But with the Alliance fleets gone, no one answered. Logan slammed his hand on the table. "No, we're not leaving them. Not my people. Not the Lyrians." General Olivia Carter, a tall woman with silver hair and a stern face, stepped forward. "Captain Price," she said calmly, "Earth can't send everything. The Council would consider this an act of rebellion. Are you ready to risk that?" Logan looked at her, his eyes burning. "Are we ready to let them die? That's the real question," Claire whispered. "I've sent a secure note to the Council. It's up to them, but I think they'll allow it. They know humans do not abandon allies." Olivia nodded. "Then we move. Gather your ships. Prepare the task force. We're going to Vesta 9. Whether anyone approves or not." Back on Vesta 9, Talon ran through the streets with his squad. Civilians were screaming, running toward underground shelters. Smoke and fire filled the sky. Buildings were falling after bombardment from Drovan ships. "We can't hold them for long," said Arin, a young Lyrian medic, as she helped a wounded child. Her hands shook, but she kept working. Talon shook his head. "We have to. We don't have a choice." He looked at the sky again, where the last of the Alliance ships had jumped away. Hope felt distant, almost gone. Still, he sent another message, hoping, praying, that someone would hear it. Meanwhile, on Fort Hamilton, preparations were underway. Ships were being readied for fast travel. Engineers and crew rushed along the corridors, checking weapons, engines, and shields. The human fleet would be smaller than a full Alliance force, but each ship was built to survive damage that would destroy ordinary vessels. Commander Ethan Cole studied star charts. He was calm and clever, always thinking one step ahead. "The Drovans won't expect us here," he said. "They think the frontier is empty. That's our advantage." Lieutenant Maya Brooks, a young pilot with quick reflexes and a fearless heart, grinned. "Then, let's give them a surprise they'll never forget." Olivia briefed the crew. "Our mission is simple. Get to Vesta 9. Hold the colony. Protect the civilians. We are not leaving anyone behind. Understood?" The crew shouted in unison, a mixture of excitement and fear. Humans had faced impossible odds before. They knew it. They trained for it. Claire sent another message to the council. "This is not defiance. This is duty," she typed, hands shaking slightly. "If anyone will act, it must be us. The frontier needs saving. The Lyrians need us." Logan stood on the bridge of the Dauntless, the flagship of the human task force. He looked at the crew, each one focused on their station. He thought about the people below on Vesta 9. "We are not their saviors," he said quietly to Claire. "We're just the ones who can't stand by while others run." Claire nodded. "Then let's make sure we get there in time." On Vesta 9, Talon and Aaron moved through a street filled with rubble. The sound of droven weapons echoed through the broken buildings. Civilians huddled in the shadows, terrified. Talon's squad set up barricades and tried to fire from cover, but the Drovens were relentless. Aaron handed Talon a small medkit. "We can't save everyone," she whispered. Talon shook his head. "We have to save as many as we can. We have to keep trying." They found a group of children trapped in a collapsed market. Talon lifted heavy debris with the help of 2 soldiers. Aaron tended to their wounds as they moved. The children's faces were pale, eyes wide with fear. Talon whispered, "Help is coming. Someone will come. You just have to hold on." But even he felt doubt. Every moment, the Drovens pushed closer. Their claws tore through walls and doors. Their weapons burned through metal and stone. The colony seemed on the edge of destruction. Far above, human ships jumped out of hyperspace. The Dauntless and her escorts emerged near the border of the system, hidden among asteroid fields. Maya, in her stealth corvette, scanned for enemy positions. "They're outnumbered and outgunned," she reported. Ethan plotted a course. "We'll hit them where they least expect it. Their numbers don't matter. If we strike smart." Olivia looked at the fleet. "Remember, we do not leave anyone behind. Not one. The council may call us rebels, but the people of Vesta 9 will know the truth. And that is what matters." On Vesta 9, Talon's squad faced a Droven patrol moving through the streets. He ducked behind a wall and fired. A Droven soldier screamed and fell, but 2 more were coming. Suddenly, a bright streak of light cut through the sky. A Droven ship exploded in a flash. Talon's squad froze. "What was that?" Aaron gasped. Another explosion followed. Then, another. The sky above burned with strange, bright lights that did not belong to any Lyrian weapon. A voice came over the open comm channel. It was clear, human, strong. "To all Lyrian forces on Vesta 9, this is Captain Logan Price of the human ship Dauntless. You are not abandoned. Hold your positions. We are here." Talon felt his heart jump. Relief, fear, and hope mixed together. He looked at Aaron, who was staring at the sky with tears in her eyes. "They came," she whispered. Talon raised his rifle again. "Then let's give them a fight worth seeing." The Drovens hesitated, confused by the sudden human attack. Their advance faltered, as unexpected energy blasts struck from above. Talon's squad pushed forward, with renewed courage. Civilians scrambled into shelters, some peeking out to see the new ships in orbit. For the first time that day, hope returned. The humans had arrived, and the frontier was not abandoned. Far away, Logan looked at the screen, showing the colony and the Drovens below. His fingers tightened around the console. "This is just the beginning," he said. "We're not done. Not yet." Olivia stood beside him. "And we won't stop. That's what it means to be human. That's what it means to fight for your friends." The task force moved into position, ready to save the colony. Vesta 9 was on the edge of destruction, but with humans on the way, it might survive. Above, the red sky still glowed with fire, But the first sparks of hope shone brighter than the flames. And far below, Talon and Aaron prepared for the fight of their lives, knowing that they were no longer alone. The human fleet moved silently through the asteroid field near Vesta 9. The ships were dark and sleek, built for speed and toughness. Captain Logan Price watched the stars on the bridge of the Dauntless. He felt a strange mix of fear and determination. Every second counted. Below, the Lyrians were holding. But the Drovans were relentless. Lieutenant Maya Brooks, in her small stealth corvette, scanned the colony. The Lyrians are holding key positions, but their numbers are falling. They can't last much longer without help. Logan nodded. Then we'll be that help. We have to get in fast and hit them where it hurts. Commander Ethan Cole studied the star charts. The Drovans think the frontier is empty. That's our advantage. If we jump in at the right time, we can strike their supply lines and their ships before they can react. Olivia Carter, standing behind him, folded her arms. Remember, this is not a simple attack. This is a rescue. Civilians are still in the colony. We have to protect them first. On Vesta 9, Talon and Irene worked tirelessly. The streets were still burning, but the humans in orbit had already started attacking Drovan ships. Every explosion gave the Lyrians hope. Civilians peered from shelters, blinking at the strange, bright lights in the sky. Talon spoke to his squad. The humans are here. That means we have a chance. Stay sharp. Don't give up. Aaron tended to a group of wounded near the edge of the city. We're running low on med supplies, she said quietly. I don't know how long we can last if the Drovans keep pushing. Talon placed a hand on her shoulder. We'll last. They're coming. We just have to hold until they land. Back on the Dauntless, Olivia briefed the fleet. We're not going to fight like the Alliance did. They pulled back and left these worlds to die. We won't. Humans fight differently. We take risks others won't. We trust our crews and our ships. That is our advantage. Any questions? Maya raised her hand. What about civilians on the ground? If we strike too hard, we could hurt them. Olivia nodded. We strike carefully. Our goal is to protect them first. The Drovans will learn quickly that humans do not leave anyone behind. That fear will slow them down. Quote, Ethan added, we'll split the fleet. Small ships, like Maya's, will strike behind enemy lines. Larger ships stay in orbit to provide support and cover drops. We have to be precise. On Vesta 9, Talon watched as a Drovan patrol tried to break through a barricade. He fired his plasma rifle at the advancing soldiers. One fell, but two more came forward. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the street. A Drovan dropship had been hit by human fire. Its engines failed, and it crashed into a nearby building. Dust and smoke rose into the sky. Talon's squad froze, staring. Look, Aaron shouted. Talon felt a surge of hope. Hold your positions, he ordered. The humans are landing. Human dropships pierced the clouds above the colony. Soldiers in heavy armor rappelled down with grappling lines. They moved fast, disciplined, and unafraid. Sergeant Nathan Clark, a veteran Marine, led a small team toward the city center. Talon met him as the soldiers ran through a rubble-filled street. Who are you? Talon asked, surprised by their calmness in the chaos. Nathan smiled briefly. Humans. Here to help. You lead us to the areas that matter most. Talon hesitated, then nodded. Follow me. The civilians are in underground shelters. The Drovans are trying to break through at the north gate. Nathan's soldiers nodded and moved in formation. They were strong and fast, their weapons heavier than anything Talon had seen. Still, they trusted each other completely. Talon realized he had never seen anyone so disciplined under fire. Meanwhile, in orbit, Maya led a squadron of small fighters. They zipped between Drovan ships with incredible speed. She fired precise shots, taking out enemy weapons and disabling engines. The Drovans were surprised. They had expected no resistance from the frontier. "Captain, they're panicking," Maya reported over comms. "Their formations are breaking. We can hit their supply ships next." Logan nodded. "Good. Keep the pressure. Don't let them regroup." Back on the ground, Talon, Aaron, and Nathan's squad moved quickly through narrow streets. They set up ambushes, collapsing walls on Drovan soldiers and using traps that the humans showed them. Every move was calculated. Aaron looked at the human soldiers. "How do you stay so calm?" she asked one of them. The Marine shrugged. "You get used to it. Fear doesn't go away. You just keep moving anyway." Talon watched them fight and realized what she meant. Humans were tough in a way Lyrians could barely understand. They kept going, even when everything seemed impossible. As the day went on, more humans landed. The Dauntless and its escorts provided cover fire, and small squads moved into key areas. Civilians were guided to safety, and Drovan forces were pushed back in many sectors. Talon sent messages to Lyrian squads across the colony. "Humans are here. Hold your positions. Reinforcements have arrived." For the first time in days, hope filled the streets. Lyrians who had been cowering behind rubble now stood taller, firing plasma rifles with renewed courage. Ethan studied the battle from the Dauntless. "Their ground forces are holding, but Drovans are still strong. If we don't keep pressure in orbit, they'll recover quickly." Olivia nodded. "Then we divide our fire. Support the ground squads. Target enemy ships, and prepare for extraction if needed. Remember, protecting civilians comes first." Maya grinned as she dodged a Drovan fighter. "I love this part. When they think they have us cornered, we hit hard." Ethan shook his head but smiled. "Just don't get yourself killed." Night fell on Vesta 9. But the fighting did not stop. Fires burned in the streets, and smoke twisted into the sky. Civilians huddled in shelters, while humans and Lyrians fought together above and below. Talon led a squad to the northern gate, where Drovans had tried to force their way into the city. Nathan's Marines followed him, moving carefully, checking every corner. A Drovan squad charged suddenly. Talon fired, and Nathan's soldiers moved in perfect formation. The Drovans were hit from 3 sides and fell quickly. Talon's heart pounded. He looked at Nathan. Nathan shrugged. "You get used to it. When you fight for your people, panic doesn't matter." Talon realized the truth in that. Humans were not stronger because of weapons or armor. They were stronger because they refused to quit, even when the odds were impossible. Back in orbit, Logan directed the fleet. "Keep pressure on the Drovans. Support Maya's squad. Watch for reinforcements. We cannot let them regroup." Suddenly, sensors picked up more Drovan ships moving through the outer system. Logan frowned. "They're bringing in more. Alert the ground squads. We may have to defend the colony all night." Olivia came up beside him. "Then we do what humans do best. We fight. And we survive. That's our job." Logan nodded. "Yes, we fight, and we make sure no one is left behind." On the ground, Talon and Aaron moved with the humans through the city. They guided civilians, helped wounded, and set traps for the Drovans. Talon watched Aaron, who worked tirelessly, never stopping even when exhaustion hit. "Why are you so strong?" he asked quietly. Aaron looked at him. "Because I have to be. If I stop, people die. That's enough reason to keep going." Talon thought of the humans fighting beside him. He realized that humans and Lyrians were different, but they shared something important. They refused to give up on others. The night ended with the Drovans pushed back from the main city. Fires still burned. But the humans and Lyrians had held their ground. Civilians were safe in shelters. Logan addressed the fleet over comms. "We've bought time. We've saved lives today. But the fight is not over. Drovan forces are still moving through the system. We hold the colony, and we protect these people. That is our mission." Ethan added, "We'll plan the next move. Carefully. Strike fast. Strike smart. And protect the civilians. That's how we win." Maya smiled, looking down at the city. "It feels good to make a difference, even when it looks hopeless." Olivia stood on the bridge of the Madison, looking out at the red sky. Humans fight for each other. That's what makes them dangerous to enemies. And that's what makes them friends. The galaxy can trust. Talon looked at the burning city and the humans beside him. He whispered to Irene, "Maybe hope isn't gone after all." Aaron nodded. "Not as long as they are here." The first wave of the humans had arrived. The Lyrians were no longer alone. The Drovans had met a new kind of enemy. Humans who refused to give up. And in the darkness of space, the stars seemed brighter than ever. Vesta 9 was quiet for only a moment. Smoke curled from the burned buildings, and the fires still glowed orange against the dark sky. The Drovans had been pushed back from the main city, but they were not gone. Talon stood on the edge of a collapsed street, surveying the damage. Aaron knelt beside him, tending to a wounded civilian. "We did well today," she said softly. "But how long can we keep this up?" Talon shook his head. "I don't know. The humans bought us time, but the Drovans are strong. They won't give up." Suddenly, a loud explosion echoed from the north gate. Dust and debris fell around them. Talon grabbed Aaron's arm. "They're coming again. We have to move." He signaled to his squad, and they ran toward the barricades. Nathan Clark and his Marines followed close behind. Their heavy armor clanked with every step, but they moved with surprising speed. Above the city, human fighters swooped through the sky. Maya Brooks piloted her Corvette with precision, dodging Drovan fire and striking enemy positions. Explosions lit up the night as she targeted enemy troops and ships. "Captain, Drovan reinforcements are moving toward the southern district," Maya reported over comms. Logan Price, on the Dauntless, frowned. "I see them. Hold your position, Maya. Hit their supplies and make them pay for every step they take." Ethan Cole studied the fleet's positions. "We need to coordinate ground and air. If we hit their supply lines and block reinforcements, the Drovans can't push the city anymore." Olivia Carter, standing behind him, nodded. "Exactly. We fight smart, not just hard. Humans have survival in their blood. We use that to our advantage." On the ground, Talon led a squad to the northern gate. Drovan soldiers were advancing, breaking through small barricades. Talon fired at the nearest one, and Nathan's Marines followed with perfect coordination. The Drovans fell back, but more arrived. The streets echoed with the sounds of battle. Plasma rifles, explosions, and shouts from both sides. Aaron carried a wounded child across the street, ducking under fire. "We can't let them reach the shelters," she said, panic in her voice. Talon pushed forward. "We won't. Humans are here now. They won't let anyone die." He glanced at the human soldiers and realized they fought differently. They were not afraid, even when the odds seemed impossible. They trusted their weapons, their ships, and each other. That trust gave them courage that Talon had never seen before. In orbit, the Dauntless and its escorts provided heavy fire. The Drovans tried to regroup, but human ships moved fast and hit precise targets. Small fighters darted between enemy lines, creating confusion. Maya's squad took out a Drovan supply ship. "That should slow them down," she said, smiling. "They weren't expecting us to be this fast." Logan watched the battle unfold. "Good work. Keep the pressure on." The ground squads need us to hold this city. Ethan added, we'll keep supply lines blocked and continue air support. The Drovens won't know what hit them. Back on the ground, Talon and Nathan coordinated a trap. They led a group of Droven soldiers into a narrow street, collapsed a wall behind them, and fired from both sides. The Drovens screamed and fell. Talon realized that the humans fought with patience and strategy. They didn't just shoot and charge. They used the environment, clever tactics, and their willingness to risk everything. Erin helped guide civilians through safe paths, and she noticed how humans carried injured Lyrians without hesitation. They really do care about everyone, she whispered to Talon. Talon nodded. That's why they came. Not for glory, not for reward. They just won't leave anyone behind. In another district, Maya led a squadron to strike a Droven artillery base. They weaved through narrow canyons between buildings, dodging fire. Explosions shook the ground as her missiles hit the base. Good hit, Maya. Logan's voice came over comms. Keep them busy. We need every second to help the ground teams. Maya grinned. They won't see it coming. Let's make sure they remember the name human. Ethan watched the battle from the Dauntless. The Drovens are starting to panic. They aren't used to enemies who refuse to back down. Olivia nodded. Exactly. Humans are strange. We survive when others would fall. That's why they'll remember us, and why our allies can trust us. Night turned into early morning, but the battle continued. Fires still burned in some streets, smoke rising into the sky. Talon led a squad to rescue trapped civilians from a destroyed apartment block. Nathan's Marines provided cover, moving with perfect timing. Erin treated the injured as they moved. They're lucky we're here, she said. Without humans, most of them would be dead by now. Talon glanced at Nathan. You and your soldiers, you're incredible. How do you keep going? Nathan smiled, though his face was tired. We do it because we have to. Fear doesn't matter. We fight for each other. You do the same, even with smaller numbers. Talon realized that the human strength was not in their weapons or armor, it was in their will to fight and protect others. Above, the Drovans attempted a counterattack. Small ships swarmed toward the city. Maya's squadron intercepted them, firing precise shots and dodging attacks. Captain, the enemy is regrouping, Maya reported. They're trying to push the humans out of the system. Logan frowned. Keep them occupied. Ground teams need every second. We hold until reinforcements arrive. Ethan added, we'll coordinate with Maya to hit supply lines and disrupt their formations. That will prevent the Drovens from concentrating on one area. Olivia nodded. Remember, we fight smart. Protect civilians first. Strike hard, but with purpose. That is how humans win against stronger enemies. On the streets, Talon and Nathan led a final push against Droven forces in the city center. Civilians cheered as humans, and Lyrians worked together to hold the barricades. Arin moved among the injured, her hands steady despite exhaustion. We're doing it, she whispered. We're actually holding them back. Talon looked at the humans fighting beside them. Nathan smiled. You learn quickly. Humans fight for more than themselves. That's the key. You fight for your people, your friends. That's what makes us strong. The Drovens retreated for now, regrouping in the outer districts. Fires still burned, but the city was safe, for the moment. Civilians were alive, and the humans had held the line. Logan addressed the fleet over comms. We've bought time. The Drovens are still strong, but the city holds. Ground teams are safe for now. Reinforcements will arrive soon. Stay ready. Ethan added, we've disrupted their supply lines and slowed their forces. They won't recover quickly. This is our chance to take control of the system. Maya smiled. It's working. They didn't expect us to fight like this. They won't forget it either. Talon walked through the streets with Erin and Nathan. I don't know how to thank you. he said. Nathan shook his head. No thanks needed. We do this because it's right. You protect your people. We protect yours. That's enough. Aaron looked at the humans. They're strange, strong, brave. I've never seen anything like them. Talon nodded. I think we just got a lesson in what it means to be human. To fight when everyone else runs. To save lives no matter what. On the Dauntless, Logan looked at the burning city below. This is only the beginning, he said. The Drovens are still out there. More attacks will come. But we've shown them that humans do not leave allies behind. Olivia stood beside him. And that is why they will never forget us. Not because we have the strongest ships or the best weapons, but because we fight when others flee. That is what makes humans dangerous, and what makes them friends the galaxy can trust. Logan nodded. We save lives. We protect allies. That is our mission. That is what we do. The first day of the human rescue was over. Vesta 9 was still damaged, but alive. Civilians huddled in shelters, grateful for the humans and Lyrians who fought together. Talon looked at Aaron. Maybe the frontier isn't abandoned after all. Aaron smiled. Not as long as they are here. The red sky faded to orange and then blue. Smoke rose, but hope burned brighter than ever. Humans had come to the abandoned world, and the Lyrians knew they would fight for them no matter what. Above, the stars glimmered. The battle was not over. But for the first time in days, Vesta 9 had a chance to survive.